Welcome back. You're listening to XRP Radio, and I am joined with Nick from Cadet Carter. How are you, Nick?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm not too bad, much better after. For those that don't know, this interview was actually cancelled because I vomited a lot. So, yeah, sorry about that.
Are you feeling better now? That's the most important thing.
Much better, much better. I was actually gutted. This is nothing to do with Cadet Carter, but I was actually meant to pick up a bike that day that I couldn't go and get.
Oh,
so
shame.
Worried, but it's all good now. So firstly, thank you, Nick, for joining us. Again, I mentioned quickly earlier, but for the visual people, Nick is literally going on tour in 57 minutes.
Exactly.
So thank you for spending your time with us. Have you got everything ready?
I think so, yeah. There's always something you just leave at home and you realize you've left a very important thing at home, like after 3 days or something. But yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I think I'm good to go.
I don't think I've ever seen a band tour and not hear that they've been one patch cable short.
It's
Guaranteed.
Always the same thing, man. Yeah, it's what we do. We just keep forgetting things.
So, for those that don't know you, because I know you a bit, who is Cadet Carter? Who's in it?
So we are a 4-piece band. And it's got me in it. That band. My name is Nick. I sing and I play guitar. Well, I attempted guitarist is what I call myself. I do my best. And then we're based in Munich, Germany. I was born in Wales, moved to Germany when I was a kid, so I'm stuck here now. And but coming back next week.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I've got 3 friends with me in that band. The drummer is called Ben, and there's Corby on the guitar, and there's Matt on bass. And that's us.
Cool. Very cool. How did the name Cadet Carter come about?
First of all, it just sounded great. My grandmother's name was Mabel Carter, so
Okay.
so that's where the name comes from. And Cadet just sounded great with it. So there's no real story behind it, but yeah.
How many people have asked you if it's a play on Coach Carter?
1 million people.
I thought so.
I love that movie though, so I'm taking it as a compliment. But yeah, that would have been the better story though.
I think you should just quickly write.
Yeah, I'm just going to stick with that story from now
on. I'm going to ignore that one. So in your own words, tell us a little bit about your music before we take a listen. If you were to kind of give yourself a brief description of Cadet Carter in a couple of sentences, I know it's horrible to do, and that's why I make you do it. What would those sentences be?
I would say we play pop punk or emo rock music that's very much rooted in the mid 2000s, but without the mascara and the suits and all that kind of stuff. But so that's what we do. We play music that's retro, it's a bit vintage, but we are trying to get that sound into this year, into this decade, really.
I like it. I want to touch on that a little bit in a bit, but for those that have never heard any Cadet Carter before, I thought I'd start off with Windshields. So, in your own words, what is it about?
It's about hatred in social media, first and foremost. I used to be on social media quite a bit. I've not stopped now, but I've toned it down quite a bit. And the thing that always struck me most was how much hate there is out there, especially on platforms that are meant to be encouraging for people, like Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, which I'm way too old to use. But yeah, and that's why I decided to write that song. It's just, if you've got nothing good to say on the internet, just don't say anything at all. That's what the song's about.
Here we go. This is Windshield's Cadet Carter. For those that are on the video stream, we'll be talking over the track because of the joys of Facebook and YouTube axing anything that's got music on it these days. If you want to listen to the track in full, head over to xrpradio.co.uk or ask Alexa to turn on XRP Radio or go on TuneIn or we're everywhere. If you can stream radio, we're there. XRP Radio, hit up. Windshield's Cadet Carter.
Love that song. I think we haven't played a show without that song on the set list since it's been released. It's one of our most important songs, I think.
You know what? It gives me a nice tingly inside feeling when you get a band that goes, I love that song.
Yeah.
You know, often you go, oh, this is our best one, or it's suddenly some bands have got to that point where it's got a bit too business.
Yeah,
not
with us though. I mean, we are in this is a shitty business first and foremost. So there is no joy in being in the music business at all.
No,
the only joy that we get out of this are the songs and the way we get to release them and the way it connects people. I mean, look at us. You know, we're talking about it right now. I think 1,000 miles away from you right now. So
give or take.
Yeah.
I can also say we've got Castor Pre, who's listening from the Netherlands. The Ecologic Effect over in Ohio. We had HQ from Poland. So they're all
friends out there.
Yeah, I love them.
The internet, man. It could be such a great thing.
It could be.
It could be such a great thing.
I think the age-old issue is that once something's invented, people try and find a way to use it in the laziest way possible.
Absolutely.
How can we get stuff for free, cheap, or easy?
Yeah.
So any creative industry, because of the internet, automatically fucked because we're a file-based industry now, which means we can be transferred, which means we are free. People don't pay for music; they pay for Spotify.
Yeah,
people keep forgetting this.
True.
People don't pay for creativity anymore. They pay for the service to access. They pay for Netflix. They pay for Disney Plus. They pay for Apple
What they
Music.
do pay for is merchandise, though, like most people. But clubs, especially in Europe, have started wanting their fair share of money, like a merch cut.
A fair share of money.
Their words, not mine.
Yeah.
But yeah, they would call it their fair share because we get to sell our stuff in their venue. So
okay, and you get to sell your beer in front of us, so we'll take our cut of that.
Yeah, that would be great though.
Back in the day, that's how it used. When I started doing gigs, you didn't get ticket money or anything else. You got 10% of the bar.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
I just, and if you don't pull the crowd, there's not the people drinking, therefore you don't get paid as much. It just makes sense. I don't understand why that model changed ever.
It's changed,
and it all became about like the max rock gigs where you have people, where you've got to sell your own ticket. So you're selling your tickets for £10, then they give you £1 back.
Yeah.
Like,
they come up with the most creative ways of ripping you off.
It's the truth. It's the truth. But this
song's done, I think.
now, so yep. Here we go. Windshield's Cadet Carter. Quite the heated discussion in our between track chats there. If you are interested in mine and Nick's take on venues and what they pay their bands, you might want to go back and check the live video stream when that comes out. So next up, your release is your first single, Car Park, back in 2017, but since then you've had a bit of a line-up change in the band. How did that come about?
Yeah, that was only, I think, about a year ago. So there's not many like well-known rock bands that are based in Germany, apart from Rammstein and the Scorpions. But there are two bands that are basically, both of those bands were in need of new members about the same time last year. So they took our bass player and our guitarist, which is horrible for us as a band, but was also quite the compliment, that
That
they approached our
yeah.
guys, which is great. So our bass player used to be our bass player called Pascal. He's now in a band called Emil Bulls, which are like a metal band, but they're very well known in Germany and Eastern Europe and France. So we couldn't really say no. What kind of friends would we have been? And yeah, so we got 2 new guys in, but at the end of the day, Munich is not that big of a city, so we've we knew them. We knew the guys, and there's only like 50 people in Munich that are willing to play in bands on a
Okay.
level that we do it. There's not that many people doing that.
Do you feel like because this seems to have been the saturation, especially in the UK and the US industry at the moment? Do you think you've kind of had a bit of a jump start compared to some other bands across the world just because you're in that kind of niche scene at the moment?
Not at all, actually.
Mm.
So being from Germany has never been seen as a seal of quality for rock bands.
Well, yeah.
It's just so. The funniest thing was we started doing all of our shows in English, meaning
Hmm.
even the banter in between songs will be in English because that's my native language, and it changed the way the crowds, I should say, perceived us, and
Hmm.
the way we were a proper band then. For some reason, it changed the way they looked at us, and that's just
That's
sad.
interesting.
It's interesting, but it's also very sad. And it's the same thing when you play in other countries. So you've got to be the real deal, and the real deal for especially Central Europe would be being a band from Britain or the US or another like English speaking
That's
country.
that's surprising. That really is surprising. Um, I do know, like, obviously, rock bands, British rock bands do like very well in Japan.
Yeah,
They just eat them up over there. Absolutely love them. But yeah, that is surprising because
it's the same thing in Germany. I remember, do you know a band called the Subways?
sounds familiar. I can't.
British band. They're from the north of London, I think. So they were like up and coming. That one hit called Rock and Roll Queen in like 2006 or something, and they
Hmm.
came over to Germany, and there was like a real kind of hype going on. And at the end of the day, I saw them play in Munich in like a 250 capacity club, and there were like 120 people from the UK there who just came along with them because they would never be able to watch that band in that smaller space. So,
Okay,
yeah, we do like our Brits over here. That's for sure.
that's lovely. Um, that has surprised me. You've took my head off a bit there.
Yeah,
But no, really interesting to know. Um, so we've got 3 Cadet Carter albums that are in existence at the moment. But which one's
yeah.
your favourite?
Oh, it's always the last one, like the most recent
Always the
one.
last one.
It's always it's an album called Anthems for the Week, and we did it with a producer called George Perks, who's from, I think he's from Birmingham. I'm not sure. He's well known for working with bands like Enter Shikari and Yumi at Six and all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
And yeah, we worked with him on the record, and it's just a great collection of songs because at the end of the day, that's what an album is all about for me. I don't really care about concepts or like sound sound stuff that goes in between songs or connects to songs or anything. That's fine, but it's not my cup of tea. I just like, the best albums, in my opinion, are like 10 to 12 songs, all killer, no filler. That's what I'm going for. And I think you got pretty close with the last one.
I think so too. What do you feel on this? Because they're saying a lot that it's the demise of the album at the moment. Most bands are kind of just pumping out regular, kind of every 6 weeks, new single, new single, new single.
Yeah,
Um, and it
it's,
seems those old practices are just disappearing now. Um,
I agree, but it's just, I think we're back to like mixtape days in like the early 90s where you would get a cassette like, from one of your mates, and there's like 12 songs or 15 songs on there,
mhm.
and and I think we're coming back to that, but especially in like the rock music scene, I think
kind of
albums will
with like
never.
the Spotify playlists and stuff
Yeah,
like that. Yeah.
Spotify playlist is just, it's just a mixtape.
Hmm.
It's just a mixtape,
Okay.
and in my opinion, so there are great things about it though. You know, if you can put one of your songs on one of those playlists that gets heard by a gazillion people, it's great for your band. But at the end of the day, not all of those, like say 100,000 listeners that have listened to your songs will automatically become your diehard fans.
Hmm.
But if you can pick the one or two every time, you know, you can grow as a band, and you can grow as a as a musician, and that's what we're going for. So there's no point complaining about Spotify or anything. We're still playing the game. You know, we could have just
Hmm.
stopped. We could have just said, right, we don't want to have our stuff on streaming services, and we're just going for the like CDs and LPs, like
Hmm.
vinyl and all that kind of stuff. And you know, that would have been, and we're like the real deal, but we're not. We do want to play the game, and the most important thing
Yeah.
for us is to get the music out there and get people to come to our shows, because that's where it's really happening.
If you were to give away a secret based on everything that you've just kind of said regarding, you know, trying to get or using the streaming platforms to your benefit, and also a bit ago you mentioned that you kind of you yourself had stepped back a little bit from social media, and you talked about the kind of basis of the track Windshields. Do you
Mm.
have any kind of like tips and hints for bands out there on you know, things that you've found successful with all of this internet stuff that's happening, that you'd say, you know, maybe
Yeah.
consider this?
So first and foremost, I think the most important thing is that people in bands understand that Spotify is not about the music. So it's part of the social media kind of thing. It's very much like Instagram and Facebook. It wants to be fed all the time. So from that point of view, I would always recommend releasing single after single after single. Like you mentioned, it's
Hmm.
just that's playing the game and feeding the machine. In terms of social media and the use of social media as a band or as a musician or an artist, I would always recommend, don't jump on any like trends or something. Just be yourself. And imagine me. I'm in my 30s, man. Imagine me dancing around on TikTok. I would just, I would consider myself the creepy grandpa at the kids' party, and it's just not for me. So
Hmm.
everybody, like all the bands, all the artists, have to find their own voice and be real on the internet and relatable. Because at the end of the day, people are going to turn up at your gigs, hopefully, and they're going to see you for what you really are. So,
Yeah.
and if that doesn't match the thing that they've seen on social media,
Hmm.
then it's game over.
No, good sound advice. Good sound advice. Let's get back into a bit more about you though, and Cadet Carter specifically. Before we play another track. So what's your favorite? You mentioned a couple earlier, but what's your favorite songs to play live?
Well, that changes, but at the moment, you know, Windshields is always up there,
Hmm.
and Car Park Song, like our debut single, it's just because it's got a sing-along intro and it gets people on their feet almost immediately. It never fails. So if we're having a bad show, once we play that song, it's all fine. Um, I love our most recent single called Crazy Maze because it's a bit of an up tempo number that you know gives the whole live thing another aspect. It adds to the depth of what we present live, and that would be my those would be my top three, I guess. And there's another song called "A Bad Few Weeks" from our second album, and it's just very personal for me. It's about having a couple of bad weeks, which I had, which I had, and yeah, it's very cathartic for me. So you know, when I play that song, I always find someone in the audience that's really feeling it. you know, he's really feeling it or she's really feeling it. And there's a connection going on. And I think, well, I've written that song for me, but I've also kind of written it for you. And it happens all the time. So it's great. I love playing that song.
Talking about those connections, and it's been seeing a few of your little snippets of live stuff on your social networks. What is great is seeing that that connection with the crowd when they start singing your lyrics. What is it like to be standing there and having an audience belting out something that you wrote on paper once?
Goosebumps every time. It's just, and it goes through my head every single time. So I'm up there playing and singing along, and have people singing my lyrics back to me, and I'm you know, I'm thinking to myself, I've written that song in my bedroom just for myself to feel better, you know, in order to, I wanted to feel better. So, and I did after I finished the song. And now there's people there who can actually relate to what I'm talking about, and they interpret the songs and the lyrics in their very own way. So it means something different to them probably than it means to me, but it's still important to them. And that's when a song stops being my song and it becomes everybody's song, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's like the most rewarding thing. You couldn't buy that with money. That's the most rewarding thing. I don't mind having 5 people there at a show. If there's only 5 people there, we have that kind of rule that we're only going on when there's more people in front of the stage than there's people on stage. So we need 5 people to go on stage, and because we're a 4-piece band, and but yeah, I don't mind having 5 people in front of the stage as long as like all 5 of them are really feeling it and are into it, and you know, and they get what we're doing. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, it can be awkward when you do have an audience, but I find it with some of these venues that are popping up with like tables and chairs, and so half the people have got their backs to you.
Yeah, it's probably great for jazz and folk music and all that kind of stuff, but for a proper rock show, it's just the wrong setting.
Yeah. Right, let's get another tune in. We do have a couple of questions that have came in, but it's a little bit early for our interviews, unfortunately. But don't worry, I do have a little kind of backlog of some of our most... Yeah, well, just in case situations like this have, I collect the most hilarious questions that we've ever put to any other band. And I tell you, some of them are really freaking weird. Right,
God.
We'll go with Stumbling, Cadet Carter. If you want to ask any questions, we're doing an AMA session for about 10 minutes over the next one. I need to keep an eye on the time because I know Nick's got to disappear at some point. Here we go. This is Stumbling.
Also a live stable. You can jump around to that song pretty well, so...
It does have a bounce.
Yeah. Cool. This is fun, man.
Good. We try and make it as fun and calm as possible. And also getting the chats out of you, like, you know, about the venues taking merch sales and stuff like that.
Yeah,
to get the kind of free flow, inside-y feel from some of the bands is what most people want to hear, to be fair.
It's also another thing that's, you know, that makes a social media presence successful. Just be honest. And if there's... So I think before the pandemic, when bands didn't really sell enough tickets to, you know, be able to make the show and go on tour, they would always cancel the show and say, due to technical difficulties or logistical shit, we can't do the show. And that's changed completely. So I've read so many messages from other bands going, so we're doing the Berlin show and we're doing the Paris show, but we won't be doing the Brussels show because we didn't sell enough tickets. And that's just an honest thing. There's nothing wrong with it. Why people have basically stopped buying tickets in advance.
I think it's really important to see that that if bands saying things are pulled for technical difficulties, on one side is starting putting the onus on the venue, which means the venue's going to get pissed off with you. The other side is, if you're honest and say, we're not doing this show because people ain't going to turn up, then people that want you to do that venue in future are going to make sure that they start buying advance tickets and showing up, otherwise you're never going to play that venue.
Right.
So,
right.
you know, if people just think, oh, it's going to happen anyway, it'll be fine, it's just a technical difficulty, they'll be back next week, you know, you're never going to get the people in the door.
That's especially true for the Cardiff show. We've experienced that. So we did run a couple of social media ads, and people would just comment on it going, this sounds great, I might come to the show. Yeah. And after like the 10th comment, we were like, hey guys, from a DIY band perspective, if you consider going to that show, make a commitment now, help us out, get yourself and the wife some tickets, and we'll see you on the 26th, and we'll make it up to you. You know, if you take that Tuesday night, I think, or whatever it is, out of your busy schedule, we're giving it our all. It's just be honest with people
on the track. Honesty is really important. I think people are finding, especially stumbling Cadet Carter here on XRP Radio. Just talking to Nick there about honesty in the industry as a general rule, and I think it's important. I think a lot of venues, producers, promoters, all the works are finding it refreshing to see bands not just giving it the gab. I think going back to talking about social media, that kind of harmed us quite significantly, with bands being able to basically rig numbers to get benefits.
It's feeding the machine. So it's no longer important that you've got a great songwriter in your band necessarily. You can have an average songwriter as long as you've got a PR expert or something that's someone that's good at social media. You will always have the right numbers, if you want to market. That's marketing talk right now. But if a festival is looking for bands to book, the first thing they would do is look on their Spotify profile, and if it says 30,000 monthly listeners, they are going to fall for it and go, this band is up and coming, this band is actually pretty big or pretty well known, and it doesn't say shit about anything. It's just you can fake it so easily that 16-year-old guys in punk rock bands can do it, but they can't really properly play their guitars.
It's been I think the past year or so I've seen, especially on the more independent scene, that producers, promoters, record labels, whatever, they're looking at that less, and they're looking to see it's less likes and followers, and it's more engagement and venue attendance and stuff like that. What's been nice to see, just looking at my Facebook, is a lot of the label reps that I have seen are going out to venues more now. I am going to look at these 4 new bands at this venue to see see what the crowds are like and stuff like that. And there was this kind of 5-year period where that just didn't happen, because it was easy for a guy just to go, "You've got 100,000 likes on Facebook, you must be good."
Yeah, but so what you're saying is that basically they've returned to doing their jobs.
Yeah,
Yes. I remember in an interview with Callie Jones from Stereophonics, who he talked about the late 90s, and they were up coming out, and they made all the A&R people from the big record labels, they made them come to Swansea to watch them play, Swansea of all places, instead of playing a show in London, which would have been like the normal way to do things. And I think we're coming back to that. At the end of the day, the musician or the band is what's what you want to sell, you know, as a record label representative. And there's, you know, you've got to, it's not just the bands that need to show dedication and motivation and what, you know, wanting to do things. It's also the industry side of things. We, like musicians, want to feel loved and liked, and you know, I think that's why most bands go independent now, because they can't find those believers, if you like, that are into that band that much that they're willing to work their butts off for that band to become successful. And yeah, that's sad, but it's the truth, really.
Well, I mean, this is the scary thing. You look at a lot of bands, even bands on labels at the moment, and the bands are doing more work than they have ever done before. Like, not just recording music, making music. You know, look at the old big bands, Iron Maiden, Metallica, blah blah blah. They were musicians that made music, and they worked hard on their music, and they worked hard on their craft. But now we're getting musicians signed to Universal, Time Warner, and now they are their PR agent, they are their artist from repertoire, they are they have to do everything. And the labels basically, from what you see it, using their, I mean, okay, you get links into your advertisement and marketing specialists in there.
But you could also hire those people if you've got the money.
Exactly. Know? What you're basically doing is getting, you know, record deals aren't record deals anymore. They're investments into business.
Absolutely.
Which is the same.
You know, record labels have turned into banks. They lend you, they are willing to probably lend you a certain amount of money, and you've got to, you know, take the money and run and make the best of it. And you know, one of my closest friends is in a rock band here in Germany, and they got signed to a major label, and they were just like, after 6 weeks, I would talk to him saying, "How are things going?" And he was like, "It's the most chaotic thing we've ever been a part of." But they're throwing around immense amounts of money. So they don't really care. The money's still there. So I can't really, you know, if I read an interview with a major label representative, they always go, "Well, we don't have the money anymore. The money's not in the industry." You know, my friend says otherwise. So he says they're making all kinds of mistakes, but they're just covering them up with let's put another shitload of money on there. And I suppose that's how things are being run. That's why we are a DIY band mostly.
Yeah, and entirely understandable. That's why we encourage everyone to stay independent.
There's no point in signing to a record label if they can't do anything for you that you couldn't do yourself.
Yeah, if the deal is them bankrolling what you do already, then you are selling a part of yourself. You're not getting help.
You could also ask your grandmother for 5,000 quid to lend you 5,000 quid. It's the same thing. You nothing against your granny, but she can't do anything in the music business either. So it's just about the money. Another thing will be, if you are like a pop music artist, I can see that, you know, major record labels might be able to get you on like the relevant television shows and that of stuff.
Don't get me wrong, you've got the other side of constructed pop, where, you know, these musicians are coming in and they haven't, you know, they have a talent, but they're not a songwriter or whatever. They are just, here you are, we'll put you on the stage, we'll dress you, we'll feed you, we'll burp you, and we'll get you on Anyway, I'm just looking at time and want to make sure that you get off on time.
I'm a chatterbox. I'm so sorry.
I'm loving the chat, but I also realise this is a Cadet Carter interview and not an interview on the state of the music industry today. But I love it. You're making it far too easy to.
It comes with the territory, man.
We have got a few questions in from our chat. The first one is from Cass Dupree, who asks what. I think this is awkwardly written. What was it that made you decide to start making music?
My dad was a drummer, first and foremost. Very bad drummer, but very passionate about it. So there would always be like instruments
Hmm.
around the house, and like guitars. And he played a bit of guitar, he played a bit of piano, he played a lot of drums badly. And I would see him play. He played in a band that would do like 5 gigs a year, so it was very much a hobby thing. And that was the main thing. I remember seeing him on stage with his band playing "Jumping Jack Flash" by the Rolling Stones, and a song which I still love to this day because of that. And it's something clicked. It was just like, I want to do that. I'm gonna do it. My dad died 10 years ago, and this is the first time that I am returning to the UK as a musician. I've been to
Oh
the
wow.
UK a trillion times, but this is the first time, and I'm actually, I get to play a show in Wales, and I would love to tell him. He would be so proud. Like I do come full circle on this tour. So yeah, so my dad made me become a musician.
That's awesome. That's a great story. Thanks for sharing that. What else have we got? Oh, Love Is Enough. Are asking
Oh
you
yeah, hi guys.
are asking you with a massive winky face there. Who is your new favorite band?
Oh, it's a UK based band called Love Is Enough. They've got a new
Okay.
single out. I think they've released it Friday of last week or something. So it's very new, and yeah, I can't wait to I'm going to get to see them for play four gigs next week. So
Yeah,
massive fan already.
they are saying can't wait for the tour.
Yes, yes, they are one of our special guests. I don't like the term support act. They are very special guests. We
Hmm.
wanted them to be on the bill, so it's not like, you know getting some band to play with you.
Excellent. I am legitimately absolutely gutted that I cannot get down there. I am
Shame,
so gutted.
shame, shame.
If you'd have done it, if you'd have done it a year and a half ago, I would have been in Birmingham. No, it's all right. On another note, though, if you're ever looking to come up here, I'll have a look around for you.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a nice city. I've been there.
I love it. It's the best
Do you
thing
love
I
it?
ever did. Best thing I
Oh
did
my,
come up
yeah,
here. Best thing. Birmingham
yeah. One of my best friends
got
is from
less
Birmingham.
enjoyable.
He's in Munich now.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. It used to be the case. There used to be a famous saying that, born a Brummie, die a Brummie,
Yeah.
unless you go to Western Supermare. You, but now, I don't think there's going to be any Brummies left in Birmingham by the end
You
of next
guys are
year.
everywhere.
We're
You're everywhere
spreading
now.
out now.
Who's in
Spreading out
Birmingham when you're all in different places?
now. The Welsh.
Yeah, shit. Yeah, they're also everywhere.
I mean, I can't deny I am a baseline of Welsh heritage.
Do you see that tattoo?
Yes, I do.
So yeah, we've got something in common then.
We do.
Cymru
We
am
do.
byth.
Yaki da.
Yeah,
Anyway, no one knows what that means, so let's keep
no,
moving.
it's just the two of us.
What music did you? Yeah. And a small select amount of Welsh people. Um, all right, where am I going? What music did you grow up with as a kid? That's another one from Castipri, and how did that influence what you create today?
So my first favorite band, and still one of my favorite bands, is Oasis.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I kind of started. So my dad used to make me these mixtapes, which had only music on that was released before I was even born. So it had like the Stones, Beatles, a lot of Beatles, the Kinks, the Byrds, like 60s kind of stuff, and then like Pink Floyd and 70s kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And the first band that I discovered myself, not without my dad like directing me towards like, you should listen to this or you should listen to this, was Oasis. And I'm a bit too young to have been there when things exploded with Oasis, like in the late 90s or mid 90s. I was 8 years old or 7 years old then. But I've been following them ever since, and I didn't like the last two records, but they're still one of my favorite bands. And then I kind of got into US kind of alternative rock, like the Goo Goo Dolls and Jimmy Eat World
Okay.
and the Get Up Kids and Sunny Day Real Estate, early Foo Fighters, that kind of stuff.
Making me
And
feel about 12 years older.
yeah, but I'm still, if one of if a Jimmy Eat World song comes on, I'm at home musically. I
Mhm.
Even if I don't know the song, which rarely happens. But yeah, it's I'm still that's Corby, our guitar player. He always says that's where you feel at home when it comes to music, and it's never going to change. So I keep, you know, I've had my phases with uh, metal music or pop music or
Mhm.
jazz or folk, alternative country music, but I always seem to be coming back to like the late 90s, early 2000s alternative rock kind of thing. And I'm not talking about Three Doors Down or something like the
Mhm.
um what do they call it, the kind of cock rock side of things, with like the Bible Belt, um USA chanting kind of side of
Yeah,
things.
I know what you mean.
But yeah, that's what I feel at home musically, and I think you can hear it in our music. Is we do like this. We have the sound that's like rooted in US pop punk or emo rock music, but I sing with a British kind of attitude, if that makes any sense.
Mhm.
So I don't go for the sunshine like Liam would, but but I'm pretty close to it.
Yeah. I like it. I like it. Oh, this is a dangerously open question. Well,
Go
it's more
ahead.
of a demand actually. It's just got a question mark at the end of it. Again from Love Is Enough. Tell us a funny / embarrassing tour story.
So about me, or a story about like from one of the band members, which I
I mean,
won't
I
name.
I,
So
I presume just from a tour that you have been
okay,
on.
so we were on tour last year, and one of our band members, which I won't name, but he plays the drums, and he's so we I think the first show was in Cologne. It's a 6 hour drive from where we live to Cologne. So we decided to do the first 3 hours a day before the show. So we would just stay by the side of the road for the night. And he got very, very pissed. Um, Accidentally, I should say. He's not that kind of guy. So it just, you know what it's like. It just happens. Sometimes it happens.
Yeah.
And it happened to him. And I'm an early riser, so I would wake up at like 7 in the morning, and we were next to a petrol station. I got in there to get a cup of coffee and a bagel or something, and I I came back out, and there he was in his underwear, just standing there in the middle of like 40 people who were like there was a bus there, and people would come out of the bus, and he would just stand there with his black underpants, and I would just go up to him and say, Ben, what are you doing? You're embarrassing all of us. And he says, I can't find my pair of jeans.
Okay.
And we were like, we've only been away from home for 12 hours and you already can't find your pair of jeans. And we said, and Corby, our guitar player, he said, have you, like, before you went to bed, could you have put it back into your bag? And he said, no, I was so drunk. I, I'm pretty sure I couldn't have done that. So he searched and he was looking for that pair of jeans for like an hour, and then he opened his bag, and there they were. But he would just run around in his underpants on a German, like by the side of the road at a German petrol station.
Why?
We were, I don't know, we were waiting for the police to turn up, but they couldn't be bothered. But it was, yeah, that's very us. That is very us.
Oh, the image is great there.
I've got a picture. I'm going to send it to you. I've got a picture of him.
Oh God, yes, please.
It's amazing.
We've. This
Sorry,
seems to
Ben,
be
for telling that story though.
I mean, I'm just gonna say this seems to be a habit of interviews that I'm doing recently. We had the last one that I did with Second Cities. I was slightly embarrassed. Their drummer again as well. Actually,
It's always the drummers. Always the drummers.
This was, you know, when people say just weird things that are really embarrassing, just out of normal. Josh from Second Cities, we're in the middle of the interview, and he just goes, "Ah, yes, that's quite right, because I'm actually chaotic neutral in Dungeons and Dragons."
Good to know. Good for what? Yeah. Good for you, mate.
I'm bringing it up as much as I possibly can.
Musicians are just crazy people. You've got to be crazy to do that kind of stuff.
Love it. Right, let's get another track on. I've just realised the time, so we're gonna have to speed up a little bit. The next one we've got.
Can you play the next song twice as fast then?
I mean, do you really request me to do this?
No.
I like how quickly you retracted that.
That was a shitty idea. Sorry.
Yeah. All right. Telescope. Tell us a bit about it before we play it.
It's one of our mid-tempo songs from the 2020 album Perceptions, and it's about picking yourself up after you've fallen down and starting all over again. That's what it's about.
Here we go. Telescope.
I'm gonna look for that picture of Ben right now.
The problem is, right, I warn you that I have been calling Josh chaotic neutral for 2 weeks now. This will appear somewhere.
Yeah, it's gonna stick. Yeah, that's good.
Brilliant. Okay, excellent.
He's not, like, Ben's not embarrassed by it. He said,
perfect.
I had to look for my pair of jeans. Someone had to do it.
I mean, I guess he's correct. Yes.
You know, he's also going on a 2-week tour with like one pair of trousers. So,
but that's what he did, or what he's doing now.
It was his only pair of trousers that he had. He had to find them, otherwise it would have been really embarrassing. Or people would go, "Man, that drummer, he's sweating so much he doesn't even wear pants." That would have been our excuse for it. You've got to make it work.
I mean, traveling light, I guess, but...
Yeah. He used to have this small suitcase with a duck on it that his parents got for him when he was 6. And that would fit like, I don't know, 2 pairs of socks, 2 t-shirts, and 1 pair of jeans in it, and that was it. And a toothbrush.
I love that he still has it.
He's got it. It's the first question.
Fantastic.
It's the first question that we raised before every tour. It was like, "Ben, you're going for the duck suitcase again?" And he says, "No, I'm gonna take, I don't know, I'm gonna have to take a hoodie with me or something, and it won't fit. Won't fit in there." He's a funny guy, though. I love him.
It sounds it.
He's the funniest person I've ever seen. He would sit next to you on the van and translate all the names of the villages and cities that we pass by into the English language, or the German language when we're in Britain. Which, you know, he's just he laughs his ass off because he thinks the funniest thing about him is he thinks he's funny. That's the best thing.
They're always the best people.
Yeah, he can make himself laugh, and that makes me laugh. Yeah,
that's great. No, it's good that you've got a good connection with your band as well. It makes it so much easier, especially when you're in confined spaces with them.
I mean, every band would say that about themselves, or probably most bands, apart from maybe the Police or something. But we really are best friends. We hang out, even if we haven't got any gigs or we don't work on music. We still hang out.
That's great.
It's just, he's my best friend, and the other two are my best friends as well. So I don't really make a difference. I love them all.
No, that's good. It's you see a lot of bands that get together and kind of the friendship is then forced because XYZ person is being crowbarred into the band.
And also the business side of things kicks in. And that is problematic. It does come with a lot of problems and stuff that you wouldn't talk to your friends about it normally. It's just, how many of your best mates do you have a business relationship with? Oh, song's over.
Right.
Song's done.
Yep, I got you. Telescope, Cadet Carter here on XRP Radio. Still here with Nick. Your questions haven't drove him away. It was actually quite tame for us. I did say I was going to ask you... I'm going to ask you a staple weird question.
Yeah.
This question is asked to everyone. It's so bizarre and obscure that it's going to take you a few seconds to kind of contemplate the meaning behind everything.
Right.
So...
I'm scared now.
It has multiple parts. So, if you could wear any celebrity's skin and become them,
yeah,
who would it be and why? However, bear in mind, you've just taken this celebrity's skin off. They are no longer alive. Who would you skin and wear?
Bloody hell.
I know, it's a hard question, double-barreled. Do we get rid of people we don't like and make them silly, but I don't want to kill the person I like but it would be quite cool to be.
You know what? That's going to be controversial. Tom Cruise.
No. I cannot see any reason why you would want to become Tom Cruise. Why would you want to become?
I would get him out of Scientology.
Okay.
And he's a good-looking fella at 60.
I mean, to be fair, at 60, he's doing well for himself.
He's a bit small, though.
Yeah.
Don't know. If,
what is he, 5'5"
yeah,
or something?
I'm 6'2".
I mean, it would be a bit of a new experience for you.
Yeah. But, well, that is controversial now, but I wouldn't mind having Scientology having one member less. So, one very well-known member.
That is the weirdest. Like, I have, the obvious ones like Donald Trump, because then he wouldn't be around and it could change his politics and stuff like that. That kind of stuff.
That's a good choice as well, though. That's a good choice.
That has to be the most obscure reason for wanting to... I mean, not that it's a question that you'd normally get asked, so it would be an obscure answer anyway, but yeah. Or I'll become Axl Rose because then I'll be famous. But no... You'll become Tom Cruise to get him out of Scientology.
I'd be famous as well. He's done a couple of great movies.
You would?
Yeah. I could do a couple of more great movies with a bit of, worse acting in it. But yeah. I could keep it as a legacy.
Worse, better acting? Who knows? Anyway.
I wouldn't do all the stunts though. He does all the stunts himself.
So they say. So they say.
Oh, I would die doing the first stunt, and then we would both be dead. Yeah.
This is the.
That is a weird question. I've got to hand it to you.
It came
by far the weirdest question I've ever been asked in an interview.
Yeah, it came via an interview ages ago, and we just ask it every time now because it was so obscure.
Yeah, it is very obscure.
Yeah. Right, now onto a slightly more sensible stuff. Let's go on to actual information stuff. You're starting your April tour. What's the first date in Germany?
Tomorrow in Cologne.
Ooh.
There's Cologne, then there's Hamburg, Frankfurt, Dortmund, which is famous for its football club, and Hanover, I think. And then we have 2 days off, and then the UK leg of the tour starts in Cardiff. Then we're in Birmingham. Then we're playing Teddy Rock's Festival in Dorset, alongside Feeder, which are one of my favourite bands. So, and then there's one more show in London at the Black Heart in Camden, and then we have a kind of a hometown show on May the 5th in Munich at a place called Backstage Club that holds 700 people. And the most we've sold in Munich are like 400. So it's a bit of a long stretch, but we want to make it the biggest Cadet Carter headline show to date.
Sounds good. Sounds very good. I did notice you had the I did notice in your tour lineup, you kind of did Germany, then did the UK, and then
Yeah,
just Munich at the end. But I like that.
we have. So we come back from Britain on May the 2nd, I think, or May the 3rd, and then we have 2 days off, and then we all meet once again and get completely shit faced after the gig in
Sounds good.
Munich.
So if you want to see Cadet Carter absolutely trashed at the end of a gig, go check that out.
Oh, that's going to be
Um,
happening in Cardiff as well, because
and in
it's
Cardiff.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
no matter what happens, I'm determined that that's going to be one of the best nights of my life. So
Excellent.
I'm gonna go for it.
I love that, going out with optimism like that as well. Now you have anticipated a lot of my questions there.
Sorry, man.
Oh, don't worry about it. Are you going to come back to the UK again this year, next year?
Hopefully, at the end of the year, probably supporting some bigger band. I can't really tell you anything about it because we've been talking about the music business and it's all secrets and shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're working on it. The music that we do is way more popular in Britain than it is in Germany normally. So it's very important for us to come over and play there. And we love the country, all of us do, and can't wait to be back.
Is there anywhere else specifically that you've got plans or determined to make plans to go to?
Oh yeah, like most of Europe really: Denmark, France, Belgium, the Netherlands. Netherlands are all a great country to play shows in. Poland, like everything surrounding Germany down to Italy. Italians are great at gigs.
The music scene over in Italy and Sicily specifically is astonishing.
Yeah, there's a lot of great bands in Italy, and there's a record label called Rude Records who are based in Milan, I believe. They are like they have a great roster of bands. I love them.
Yeah, we've got a link with Vuxet Radio and Radio Amore over there in Sicily, and the quality of music that's coming out is blows
also
my mind.
A great place to spend some days at. So I don't mind having to spend a week in Sicily. That's fine with me.
Hint, hint, anyone that's listening.
Hint, hint. Hello, Palermo. Please book us.
In regards to new music, we've spoken a lot about touring and stuff. You've just released Crazy Maze, which we're going to play a little bit later. What's next in regards to new music for Cadet Carter?
So there's two kind of projects that we're working on right now. One is releasing a new EP with like 4 or 5 songs in it, on it. That's going to be out in a whole September or something. Mm-hmm. And we're also recording all the shows on this tour in order to make a live album, which nobody really cares about anymore because of the things we were talking about with Spotify and everything. But we are old school when it comes to that, and we think that a band that we pride ourselves in being a good live band and having a great party on stage, and we want to have that on a record. So hopefully,
I think it's important to not let go. Oh, sorry.
So, sorry, I was finished.
Yeah. I was just relating to what you were saying. I think it's important to not, just because of the way the music industry is moving, not let go of some of the classic things that people did. You've got the old school garage bands that are still making mixtapes on tape cassettes and stuff like that. You've got to you've got music that's well situated in the kind of 2000s. And there's things that I want you to do a live album, because I remember the live albums of back then.
Yeah, there's like it's got to be part of a back catalogue of a band. At the end of the day, everybody does it, and there's like well-known live albums like The Who live at Leeds or something, who are just who that album has become legendary, and not that we are planning on releasing a legendary live album, but or comparing us to that kind of stuff, but it's just we want to it's something that we want to do, and there's no commercial like concept behind it that we would, oh, it's going to sell great or something. That's not what we are thinking about when we're talking about releasing a live album. It's going to be on Spotify, but we want to do it on vinyl as well, and do the whole thing.
I have just realised the time, so I'm going to quickly
It's 4
smash.
o'clock.
Yeah,
it's 4 o'clock German time. It's 3 o'clock UK time.
Yeah. So I'm going to quickly smash through the last 3 questions and play your last 2 tracks back to back, if that's okay with you.
Yes, shoot me.
Cool.
Could you try again?
No. No, I can't.
Shut up, Apple Watch.
Stupid thing. What? Okay. I always berate Martin for the way he phrases his questions sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and read this and hopefully it makes sense. What's the idea for the band? Play more shows, release more music, obviously, but look to join a label or anything like that? Question mark.
Not really. So, yeah, release. We want to release new music. We want to go on tour again, obviously. This band has been around for 6 years, and we have never sent out one demo to anyone. So, and I believe it's gonna stay that way. If we like get in touch with someone at a record label, and they might be interested, and we are happy to talk about everything, but it's not one of our main goals, really.
Great mindset to be in. I say that to everybody out there. Do we have a new album in the works?
Well, yeah, sort of. So we're always working on music.
Okay.
At the end of the day, if we come up with 10 songs that make sense, with being played back to back, yeah, sure. There's always something going on.
And where's all the best places to find Cadet Carter, both socially and streamingly?
Streamingly?
Yeah, we'll go.
We're everywhere. Like, we are everywhere, really. We're based in Munich, so if you want to come out and have a couple of drinks with us, that would be the place to go. But our drummer is from Hungary, so we're there a lot of the time. And I'm in Wales at least 3 times a year, so hit me up there. I'm also I'm going to be in Scotland in October or something. So.
Oh, sweet.
Hint, hint.
Do you want to know the worst part of that?
Yeah, what?
I'm on honeymoon in October. So.
Good for you, though. I'm going to have a pint on you then. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I might be around. Depends what the dates are. I'm only going for 10 days.
You're going on honeymoon for 4 weeks. That was what I was going to ask now.
No.
4 weeks
only for 10 days.
Yeah,
only for 10 days.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably should go on honeymoon for 4 weeks, considering I have not left the country or been on any form of like holiday experience realistically for 23 years.
What? Wow.
Yep.
Where are you going on your honeymoon?
I will be going to Spain.
Sounds great.
Yeah, should be lovely. But the only downside is I melt quite quickly, so I'm hoping it's not too hot.
It's what Brits do.
Yeah. Anyway, aside from that, last thing before I play the last 2 tracks, which will be Breakaway followed by Crazy Maze for all those that want to know. Yes. The last thing I always give every single person that comes on is 60 seconds to say whatever the hell they want, because, well, after this, you're going anyway, so you can't really offend me. So
that's really good.
If I'm gonna say
can I be mean to people?
You can be mean, you can be nice, you can say what you want because you've gone after this. Just bear in mind whether you want to be invited back or not.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's fine. And afterwards, if you could say, I've been Nick from Cadet Carter. This is Breakaway followed by Crazy Maze and goodbye. And if you can remember that after whatever you've said for 60 seconds, I will give you.
Do I have to keep on talking now for 60 seconds?
Well, it doesn't have to be 60, the whole 60 seconds. Most people run out of time, so,
Oh, no. I'm going to keep this short.
Okay.
So,
time starts now.
Thank you all for listening, first and foremost. We can't wait to come over to the UK and play for you all. If you work at customs services in Britain, can you please tell your bosses to make things easier for European bands to come over? Because it's a nightmare, I'm telling you. I've spent the last week on the phone talking to people because all we want to do is get our guitars to the UK and get them back safely. That's one thing. So if you voted for Brexit, thank you for nothing. That's what I was gonna, what I was asking. Can I be mean to people? Yeah,
I'd have
and
been worse.
but you're in Scotland, so you guys, yeah, you're good.
Well, not quite yet.
Yeah.
We will be good, hopefully.
Yeah.
Sure, I understand.
But yeah, other than that, I love Britain. We all do. We can't wait to play for you all. And if you haven't got any tickets yet, please look up our dates on Instagram or Facebook or wherever you get your information. And there's tickets available at the door, and we'll see you there.
Lovely.
Oh, sorry, I've been Nick from the band Cadet Carter, and I love you all, and I've loved this interview.
Great. It's been great to have you, Nick, and I will catch you another time. This is Breakaway from Cadet Carter, followed by Crazy Maze. Sweet. So, if you need to rush off, feel free.
Yeah. Actually, the boss is waiting for me, so I'm gonna have to drive to a city nearby, about 15 minutes, and then I'm gonna hop on a nightliner and sit on my ass for like 24 hours.
Well,
so I've got 2 kids, so I'm gonna have to say goodbye to them first. It's the first time I've been on tour this long.
Ooh. Excited and scary.
Yeah, that's what it is. Right, mate.
Good stuff. Well, catch you anon.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
I'll let you know when we restream this for the bigger audience and stuff.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, it's great to have you. I'm glad we managed to sort it before you went. So
cool, buddy.
Excellent. Right, catch you later, mate.
Cheers, buddy. Bye now.
Bye. And that was Nick from Cadet Carter. I'm gonna let you listen to some tunes whilst we wait.
again.